Shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah. Kwam Yasha Allah. Hope y'all having a good night through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that do teach well. And may Yahweh Bashem Yahushai be with you in the Spirit. And may the angels of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai encampeth around you and your loved ones. Same goes on down to the Akim, the brotherhood, the body. May Yahweh Bashem Yahushai send his angels to encampeth around you. Kwam Yasha Allah and Abba Ball. And I was just looking at a video here that Elder Apostle Rhyme Lob made here just recently. And by the way, his channel is here, and I'm going to put a link in the description to the video and the channel. It's GMSInfoDoc Channel12. And the title of the video is Confinement for Non-Compliance. And I'm about 16 minutes in and taking some notes here. And, you know, he makes a great point here in around the 16-minute mark. And it inspired me to do this lesson. And he goes into how there's a battle out here, especially a spiritual battle between good and evil. And he made a statement here saying that the forces of evil, they don't count on the forces of good that are in the spirit realm, because that's who's protecting us. And ultimately, the good is going to overtake the evil through the spiritual backing that we have through Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and the angels. And it's so true. It's so true because the things that are more powerful are the things that you can't see. And the Lord's hosts of heaven that he has, they're innumerable. But the carnal eye cannot see it. And I'm going to go into that. And brothers, you have protection, man. You have protection. You're protected by a high-level sacred entity, or entities, I mean, which is Yahweh Yahushai, the greatest of the greatest, man. And he's protecting you without a doubt. And around you, you're surrounded by enemies. There's a lot of heavy hitters out here when it comes to spiritual wickedness, because that's what we battle. We battle spiritual wickedness in high places. So let's get Ephesians, the 6th chapter. And you notice it says the armor of the Most High. Your armor is your defense. And who's our armor? It's really the Word, but it's really Yahweh Yahushai through the Word. That's our armor. Now, before I do that, let me just play what I want you to hear from what the elder apostle said.
Telling Jake what's really coming, and they're allowing him to be put to sleep. That's why it says in Ezekiel the 13th chapter that they have not set up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the day of the battle, because the Lord is waging a war. He's waging a battle on the earth. You know, it's going to be the forces of good against the forces of evil. And the forces of good outweigh the forces of evil, far outweigh the forces of good physically on the earth. But what the forces of evil don't count on is that the forces of good, although they may be outnumbered, yet in the spirit world, the angels are there, which makes the balance perfect. You know, because they are more with us than are with them. But physically, it's going to seem, you know, like we would be overwhelmed.
Yeah, you see, so physically they outnumber us, but spiritually they don't. And the spiritual is heavier than the physical. Now, Hebrews the 11th chapter comes to mind. For faith is the substance of things hoped for, and faith is the evidence of things not seen. Hey, and the things that are not seen, which represents the things that are in the spirit world, they're very heavy, man. They're very heavy, very strong. So you have more to fear from the things that you can't see than the things that you can see. And that's what the forces of evil rely on. They rely on the things that they can see. Right? So, hey man, we got a hidden power that is extremely powerful. All right, so let me get Ephesians chapter 6 verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. And that power comes through his right hand, which is Yahushai. And he's coming back to take down this place. And remember, our Lord Yahushai, he is the word spoken of in John the 1st chapter. So he's extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Verse 11, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And you know, that word wiles, it really means trickery, and also their devices. And a part of their trickery is witchcraft, man, or jugglery. Let me pull up that word, jugglery. That's what they're into. Right? Juggler, jester, buffoon, wizard, sorcerer, magician, conjurer. And these people are a bunch of wizards, sorcerers, and also buffoons, man. Magicians and conjurers, because they conjure up demons. And they're playing heavy on the left-hand side, man. On the left. So that's what they are, a bunch of magicians, a bunch of jugglers out here. And being a juggler means that you're playing tricks. You're using sleight of hand, deceit, lies, because that's what they thrive off of, man. Lies. And when you put on this armor, it defends you from all these things that they throw at you. Which that armor really starts off with the name first, and the knowledge that comes with this book. The laws, statutes, and commandments, the ordinances, the things that are written. And these are all sacred and holy things that were given unto us. And it's only a few people that can tap into this. Not a lot of people can tap into this, man. And the Lord, he has given this to us little guys. Verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And that's these rulers out here. These top witches, top sages, people who dabble into black magic. Right? So yes, they do tap into the spiritual, but they're looking at us like we're insignificant because of how it looks in the physical. But they fail to realize we have a power that is backing us, who rules in the heavens, in the spirit realm. The power of all powers. Okay, verse 13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of our power, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Hey, and he was going into a lot of the evil days that are ahead of the nation of Israel, going into the time of Jacob's trouble. And you notice the video says confinement for non-compliance. And the people who are going to be non-compliant are really the men of the Lord. And because of that, you're going to be thrown into prison. And that is set up for you to be enticed to sin and go against the name of Yahweh, Yahushai, to denounce it. But you have to have this whole armor on to withstand that in that day. Verse 14, stand therefore having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. Yeah, and you got to stand up for what's right. And in order for you to do that, to girt your loins like a man, is to have this knowledge. Yeah, because this knowledge, when you wear it, when you live it, you don't have that spirit of fear on you, man. You don't have that spirit of fear. You're bold. You're bold as hell. And you're going to be bold on to the end. All right, so let me move on. I want to get the account in 2 Kings with Elisha and his servant. And this is when the Arameans were going to attack them, which came in the form of the king of Syria that time, when they were warring against Israel. I think it was the king that time was Jeroham, I believe. I believe he was ruling at that time. And then the king of Syria, he brought a great company or a host, and he also wanted to kidnap Elisha the prophet, which, by the way, Elisha, he succeeded Elijah. He is the successor of Elijah, and both of them did great things, and they're what you called men of God, which a man of God is a biblical title of respect applied to the prophets and beloved religious leaders, man, or so-called religious leaders, which really represents the saints. And you have a lot of saints out here today. That's why you call them a company of prophets. And that starts with the elders and apostles on down of Great Millstone, and some prophets within the company. They're going to be more notable than others, but this is a whole body, man. And if you're doing the work and standing up for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and teaching it the right way, then most likely you're going to be a man of the Most High, a man of the power. And without a doubt, when you read this, Elisha, he was a man of God, man, and a high level one, a well respected one. Now, men of God, the men of God, they're really feared. A lot of them, they're feared, even though they were killed. They were feared because they were tapping into something that was extremely sacred, which is Yahweh Shai. And they were there set up to give the will of Yahweh Shai. And while they were given the will, they were given a lot of power through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So this is a very serious thing that you're involved in. It's a very serious thing that you're involved in, brothers that are coming into the truth and plowing and putting in work and serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. That comes with serious power. And that comes with you fearing as well, man. You have to fear out here. You have to fear Yahweh Shai. All right, so let me start reading this. This is 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 8. Then the king of Syria warred against Israel and took counsel with his servants, saying, in such and such a place shall be my camp. And the man of the Most High sent unto the king of Israel, saying, beware that thou pass not such a place, for thither the Syrians are come down. And the king of Israel sent to the place which the man of the power told him and warned him of. So yeah, the seer, which was the man of the Lord, or man of the power, which was like a prophet, okay? He warned the king of what was going to take place because he saw it before it happened. He's a prophet, so he warned him. That's what the prophets are set up to do. Warn the people of the impending dangers that lie ahead, and saved himself there not once nor twice. And therefore the heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing, and he called his servants and said unto them, will you not show me which of us is for the king of Israel? And one of his servants said, none, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet that is in Israel, telleth the king of the Israel the words that thou speakest in thy bedchamber. And he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Dothan. Therefore sent he hither horses and chariots and a great host, and they came by night and compassed the city. So this guy had a big army, man. A big army. He had strong, mighty men. He had weapons of war. So this guy was very strong physically, and compassed the city about. So he surrounded the city. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host encompassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, fear not, For they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And who's he talking about? He's talking about the angels. All right, and it goes into it. So, verse 17, and Elisha prayed and said, Yahweh, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And Yahweh opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. Like I said earlier, faith is evidence of things not seen. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. All right, so the Lord, he has to open your eyes so you can believe, so you can have faith, so you can see. And like I said earlier, the things you can't see are much greater and more powerful than the things that you can see with the carnal eye. And Yahweh opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. And that's going into Psalms the 34th chapter. The angel of the Lord encampeth around them that fear him. What does it say? Psalms chapter 34 verse 7. The angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. And yes, that's right. So when you come into this thing, you have to have fear, especially if you move up. Especially if you're involved in this truth for a very long time. Your fear has to increase for Yahweh Shem Yoshai, and it will, because the more fear you have, the more things the Lord opens up to you about what's going around you. Hey man, you got people out here who are trying to send up curses, trying to send up demons on you, and you're being protected heavily. Hey, this is a spiritual battle. And it's also a physical battle, but more so spiritual. You know, and I don't mean to contradict myself, because I said some things in the beginning. It may sound like I'm kind of dabbling around. But forgive my speech. Sometimes I don't know how to put words sometimes. You know, sometimes a lot's going through my mind. But it is more spiritual than it is physical. But a lot of these people out here, they're thinking that the physical will outweigh the spiritual. Because a lot of these people who are on the left-hand side, they're very carnal, man. And the things they involve themselves in the spiritual realm is really to do carnal things. That's why it says the wages of sin is death. It brings you death, man. So that's all carnal, man. That's all carnal. Dabbling into demons and all that shit. That's really for carnal reasons, man. And a lot of these people out here, they make a contract with these demons, and it's like that low level, that low vibrational demon that they made that contract with, because demon just means high of intelligence or higher intelligence. That demon doesn't need them. The demon, they need the demon. Okay, let me say that again. The demon that they made the contract with doesn't need them. They need the demon. So the demon knows that they're just using them for carnal reasons. All right, so I just got to put that out there. So don't be fooled, man. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. So anyways, the main point is in the 7th verse here, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. And that's what you're seeing take place here in the 15th verse. Back in 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 15, and when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and gone forth, behold, actually I already read that, Slakia. Verse 17, and Elisha prayed and said, I pray thee, open his eyes, that ye may see. And Yahweh opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. There you go. And when they came down to him, Elisha prayed unto Yahweh and said, smite this people, I pray thee, with blindness. And he smote them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. So he smote them with blindness, man. Hey, and you know what that came down as? It came in the form of a curse. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Shalak Rayam, man. And that's what you gotta do out here. You gotta curse people out. You gotta throw up that spiritual airmail. Didn't we make a covenant with the Lord back on Mount Sinai when the Lord gave Moses the laws? And a part of that covenant involved protection. You know, if we serve the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, wholeheartedly, and we fear Him, He's going to give us protection. And that's what we have. We've tapped into that. And these people out here, they know it. They know it. Verse 19, and Elisha said unto them, this is not the way, neither is this the city. Follow me, and I'll bring you to the man whom ye seek. But he led them to Samaria. And it came to pass, when they were come into Samaria, that Elisha said, Yahweh, open the eyes of these men, that they may see. And Yahweh opened their eyes, and they saw, and behold, they were in the midst of Samaria. And you see how powerful the men of the Lord are. A man of God is very powerful. It's very powerful. I'm going to read the definition of a man of God. A man of God is a biblical title of respect applied to the prophets and beloved religious leaders. And you have many respected prophets, just like what I'm reading here, and they had a lot of power in the spirit. And the king of Israel said unto Elisha, when he saw them, my father, shall I smite them? Shall I smite them? And he answered, thou shalt not smite them. Wouldest thou smite those whom thou hast taken captive with thy sword and with thy bow? Set bread and water before them, that they may eat and drink, and go to their master. And he prepared great provisions for them. And when they had eaten and drunk, he sent them away, and they went to their master. So the bands of Syria came no more into the land. So they came in no more, and they were protected because they had Yahweh Shai back in them. Now let me get Genesis, the account with King Hamor and Prince Shechem. When Prince Shechem ended up defiling Dinah, which was the 12 patriarchs' sister, or Jacob's daughter. And they went and they killed them. They went and killed them. Hey man, Levi and Simeon were very bad, man. There are some dangerous men, some dangerous forefathers, man. You know what they did? They supplanted these Hamites that defiled their sister, and said, you know, it's not of our custom that we would have our sister deal with a man that is uncircumcised. So they made them all get circumcised. And while they were while they were recovering from their circumcision, that's when they attacked them and killed them and took all their stuff, because they defiled their sister. Because our custom is our women, they're not supposed to be sleeping around with heathen men. That's the custom. That's really the law. Okay. So anyway, let me read this. So Genesis chapter 34 verse 26, and they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain, and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their sheep, their oxen, and their asses, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives took they captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. Wow, they went in on that, man. And the Lord allowed it. The Lord allowed it. And by the way, this is coming back, man. This is coming back in the near future. When Yahweh Shai comes back, man. The saints of the Most High will take the kingdom. You think it's going to be through a negotiation or a peace treaty? No. It's going to be through war. And that's what the Lord Yahweh Shai is coming back to do. Take this place by force. You could read chapters like Isaiah 60 and Isaiah 61. There's many chapters that go into that. And a lot of you heathens, man, you're going to become servants. That's your future. You're going to be servants, man. All right, verse 30. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, and I and my house. So he was worried about that. And obviously because he is of age, he is older and he is the father, so he's thinking about everybody. Well, they were a bit hot-headed. So he was thinking about the bigger picture, because he knows that he's few in number. And that's why the scriptures say, thou outworm Jacob. Because we're little out here, man. We're little. You know, we look insignificant in the sight of these other nations, man, because these other nations, they have armies, they have fighters, they have more numbers. We're actually small out here. But when you really think about it, there's scriptures that can combat that, because we are likened unto the sand of the sea. But when it comes to organization, we don't really got it. These other nations got it. Anyway, let me get a scripture. This is Isaiah chapter 41, verse 14. No, verse 13 I'll start at. For I, Yahweh, thy power, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. And that's what we're receiving. We're receiving help. We're not doing this by ourselves. It's the Lord that's doing it. And we do need help out here. And we can't do this on our own. The Lord is doing everything for us, man. And that's a part of the covenant that was made between our forefathers, starting with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's that covenant. Protection. A part of that covenant is protection, man. And we will always be protected, man. And you gotta believe that. You gotta believe that. And then you gotta read them prayers. You gotta pray. You gotta fast. You gotta be involved in this word. And you gotta have fear. You gotta have fear. Verse 14, fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. So you see that? We're a worm. A worm is very small. Let's look at the word worm here. Serpent, well, they say serpent, snake, dragon, which we are those things too. But earthworm, insect, all right? Or insect, okay. So it says here, the ancient category of these was much more extensive than the modern scientific one, and included serpents, scorpions, maggots, and the supposed causes of certain diseases. Salakia, give me a second. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had some technical difficulties there for a moment. I just want to look up the word here in the blue letter. So let's get it. All right, so this is Thawalai, and it says worm, scarlet stuff, crimson worm, the female caucus ilicis, scarlet stuff and crimson scarlet, worm, maggot, worm, grub. So that's what it is. And what is a worm and a maggot? A maggot is very small and it can be stepped on and it's insignificant. Can't really defend itself. So we are actually a worm. We're very small. I'll read this one more time. Fear not, thou worm Jacob. So don't fear. Even though it appears that we are small in number, we are small in forces, we are physically small, we got a spiritual power that is backing us. And ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. And something that is very holy is very sacred. And not a lot of people can go on to a holy a holy thing or sacred thing. Only a select few of people. Alright, so that's all I want from there. Let me get a scripture. This is Psalms chapter 1, verse 24. Verse 1. A song of decrees of David. If it had not been Yahweh who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been Yahweh who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick, when their wrath was kindled against us. Then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our soul. Then the proud waters had gone over our soul. Blessed be Yahweh, who hath not given us as a prey to their teeth. And these people want to kill you out here, man. They want to kill us, man. Can't wait to kill us. Because of who we serve. It's really because of who we serve. Because the world hates Yahweh Shai, and it's of the things that we say. We speak of Yahweh Shai through this book. The prophecies that we bring out. Telling these other nations that are built up, oh, you're going into slavery. Get ready to die. Right? You're going to slavery. Get ready to die. Your kingdom's going down. Nobody wants to hear that, man. They want to kill somebody that would say that. Saying that the white man's the devil. Nobody wants to hear that, man. That offends people. But you know what our Lord said? Many offenses shall come. And that goes out to the people of the nation of Israel, and also to you people of the world, man. That's too bad. But the main point is, the Lord, he's defending us on all sides. When these people come up against us, and there's nothing that they can do. Verse 7, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. And that goes into these, really, because it's a spiritual battle first and foremost, and then it plays out physically. But it's really spiritual warfare we're dealing with out here, more so. And yes, physical things happen, physical altercations happen, but it's more so spiritual, man. So here we go. Let me finish this. Verse 8. Our help is in the name of Yahweh, who made heaven and earth. So did you hear that? It's in the name. Let's go into the name, man. Yahweh. Yahweh. Okay, that's the name. The existing one. You could say that too. That's another alias, but it really means he is to be. He is to be, or he exists. Same thing, right? But that's who we serve, and that's who we protect. So you have to call upon the name Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, man. That's who you call upon. So that cuts Nate and all these guys. IUIC. That cuts you people out here that says, oh, you can call God whatever you want. Well, try in the time of trouble. You think he's gonna answer you when you call upon Jesus? He ain't gonna answer you. You're gonna die, man. You're gonna die. Our help is in the name of Yahweh, who made heaven and earth. That's right, our maker, man. So that's where you get your help from. So that's all that I got for today. Hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwame Yasha Allah and Ababa Bal. Shalom.